Are you good?
Okay. You take care. We'll see you later.
Yep. Is it also recording the audio? Like, is that weird thing recording the audio or no?
No, it's not recording. It's
okay.
just normal smartphone.
Alright, that's cool. So, welcome everyone. This is So You Want to Make Games 2. I just called it 2 because I want it to be funny. And chances are, you also want to make video games. So, my name is Dan. I am a quality assurance tester at Complex Games, which is a local mobile game developer. I graduated from Red River College's Digital Media Design and 3D Computer Graphics program back in 2013. Wow, time flies. Anyway, so I'm here to present to you some ways to get into making games. How to start, how to improve, and also if you're interested in education, where to get an education. With that said, nothing I put in this presentation is gospel. This is not a guaranteed way to get into the video game industry. There are so many different paths that you can take to making games, and you just gotta, it's mostly about just putting yourself out there and trying your hardest, and hopefully someone takes notice. Anyway, so I crafted this presentation so that it could have some form of audience participation. Actually, before that, if we could save all questions for the end, that would be great. If you have something, just keep it in your head and I'll try and answer it at the end. Anyway, so yeah, let's go through what we got. We have 3D art, 2D art, programming, game design, quality assurance, music production, producing, localization, and public relations. What do you guys want to start with? Hands. Anyone? Anyone? What do you guys want to start with? What do you want to start with, sir?
PR.
PR? Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Public relations, also known as community managers. The job is for outgoing people who don't mind being the public face of a company. Being the public face of a company means that you take a lot of flack. Does anybody here play Destiny at all? Okay, well, if you play Destiny, we all know Deej, our lovely community manager, and how everyone hates him and thinks that everything he does is the problem. He is the face of the company, so everyone blames him. Anyway, public relations isn't all fun and games. It's not just standing in front of cameras and writing out tweets and going on Facebook. You have to plan PR events. You have to have input on marketing. You have to be the voice on social media, the faceless person behind every Twitter page or Facebook page. And you also have to compile feedback from fans so that the people making the game know exactly what the fans want out of the game. And this is all this so that you can know exactly how your public feels about your product. There's really no guaranteed way to get good at doing PR. You just have to be professional, organized, outgoing, and positive. Also, if you shorten that, it's poop. You have to be poop. A lot of entry-level jobs are customer service, which, like it or not, is public relations. If you work at Safeway, if you work at a call center, if you work at a gas station, you are doing customer service. You represent the company. So doing this allows you to anticipate how people will react to what you say, how to tailor your message towards the people that you're dealing with, and also to plan for disaster. If you want to, if you have the time and you're a very, very outgoing person, or the budget, because all this is very expensive, you can put your name out on the wild by starting a plan or streaming your favorite game. And this will improve your visibility in the job market and help you understand the nuanced world of video game culture. If you're looking to pursue a career in PR, I highly recommend the Creative Communications program at Red River College. Its broad focus narrows after 1 year, so you can specialize in doing public relations out of the public relations major. And there's also a tie-in with the University of Manitoba that helps you with your Bachelor of Arts. And getting a BA can really help you get a job abroad, like in another country or even another province, because, well, you got a degree from Red River College. That doesn't really mean much to some people. Anyway, on to our next topic. Anyone? Yes, Steven?
2D art.
2D art? Okay. All right, so 2D art for, I know you can't believe this, but 2D art is for people who like to draw or paint. Shocking. All right, 2D artists are tasked with working on concept art, which will help you describe the look and feel of the game during production for the other artists and also for people who may not know what your game is, it's just a name. Sprites. So animated pixel art used on older consoles like the Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, all that kind of stuff. And is also seen a resurgence in modern indie games. Like, what's a good one? Binding of Isaac, that turned into pixel art when they re-released the game with Wrath of the Lamb, I think. 2D animations. They can be as simple as a blinking light on a tile set, or as complex as a full-fledged fighting game character animation. Matte paintings, which are skyboxes, so all the wicked skyboxes that you see in your games, and also any non-3D background objects. So that'd be like mountains or trees or that kind of stuff. And probably one of the most obtuse ones, the user interface elements, which is basically the menus, status bars, the text, pretty much anything that explains stuff to a player. If you want to start doing 2D art, if you haven't already, you need to learn proportion, perspective, and line control. Proportion, the easiest way to learn to do that is light drawing classes. Those are the ones where you draw naked people, or not necessarily naked people, and you get to do it in a variety of poses and angles, and it's usually on a time limit, so you gotta be really fast. Perspective. You can look up 2- and 3-point perspective. I highly recommend because they have always a perfect perspective. Go on draw from photos. Like if you look at a photo, it always is going to have perfect perspective. And line control, which is really difficult to master, and you need to have long, smooth strokes instead of small, sketchy ones. I still do that. I still do small, sketchy strokes. It's awful. Also, the golden rule: practice drawing every single day. If you don't, you won't get rusty. And like, it's just if you're passionate about it, you're gonna want to do it every day anyway. So, all right. So once you have a good grasp on making artwork, chances are you're going to be working in black and white stuff while you're doing light drawing classes. So start working with color and add more shadows to your drawing. It'll help to really really pop your drawings out of the screen, or out of the screen, or on paper, or if you can start drawing. If you're good at drawing, you can start drawing stuff that's in your head, not just what's in front of you. This really flexes your imagination, and it'll really test your skills to the limit. Also, try a new medium. That one's very important. If you are drawing in a sketch pad with a pencil, maybe try painting. If you are painting, maybe try grabbing a tablet and start doing stuff in Photoshop. Like, it really helps to help you grow artistically. All right. If you're interested in 2D art education, oh my gosh, I got a phone call. Go away. Okay. So, if you're interested in a 2D art education, you can check out the Fine Arts program at the University of Manitoba. It's got lots of options, lots of different things, possibilities for electives, but there's really nothing focused on game art right now. There's also the graphic design program at Red River College. It's focused primarily on graphic design and layout and print, but there's a large illustrative focus. Like, they take probably, I think it's like almost 8 hours a week of just drawing. It's really crazy. All right, what kind of jobs can you get? You can be a graphic designer, which will you'll basically mainly be focusing on like advertisements and like UI design creation, working with the game designers on UI flow and stuff like that. It's really interesting stuff. Like, I talk with the guys at work, and it's just like, oh boy, it just blows my mind. You can also be a concept artist, which, like I said before, it'll help you. It helps the company develop the look and feel of the game while it's in production. If you have 3D art training, you could be a visual effects artist, which which it's mainly focused on particle effects and effect systems. So you'd be making sure that the fire looks like fire and that it reacts when it's supposed to and all that stuff. Okay, and that's the end of the 2D art slide. Do we have another one? Any other ones? Sorry, in the front.
Program.
Programming. Okay. Let's start on programming. Programming is for people that like to know how to make things work. That's basically all that programming is just making things work. But to broaden that, programmers are in charge of making sure that the individual systems of the game work by themselves as well as in tandem with other systems in the game. For an example, the battle system and the menu system and the movement system, those are all systems that are developed by a programmer. Those are all separate, but say you were to make like a platformer, then you would have to have like a movement system and a jumping system and like level progression system, and all that stuff would have to mesh and work together well. To get started, go to unity3d.com and download Unity 3D and MonoDevelop. They are free. I highly recommend that you check out the tutorials available on unity3d.com because they're easy to follow, they're very good examples, and it runs through almost everything that Unity can do. Not just programming, but like literally everything. Like they even have stuff on there for like doing PR and stuff, and it's like, well, I don't really need to know how to do that, but lo and behold, it's on there. If you're looking for more genre-specific examples, like if you're doing an action game or an MMORPG or a turn-based RPG, you can find those on YouTube. They're generally not for beginners, so try and temper your expectations. A very important rule when programming: don't rush yourself. Programming can be extremely difficult. The potential to get frustrated is very high, so just take it slow. I did, for an example, I did this presentation in Unity, like for the people that were here when I turned it on, it said powered by Unity. Yeah, this took me a couple weeks of doing it, like a couple hours a day, and once I finally figured it out, it was just like, holy keys, that explained everything. But yes, don't rush. It's hard. Once you understand how to program well, start trying to emulate the systems in your favorite games. Like I said before, if you're making a platformer, you would have to develop a movement system to move the character around the X and Z axis, which is basically, if you were to look at the ground in front of you, it would be, the X would be like going down the middle of the path, and the Z would be the way the tables are arranged. To elaborate on that a little bit more, if jumping is something you want, you can make a jumping system that will allow you to navigate the environment on the y-axis, so you'll be able to move up and down. And with the movement and the jumping systems in place, you can design a level and play around in your very, very basic platform. It's pretty much, that's how game development works. It's like, oh hey, this system's cool, I need this system, I need this system. Oh shoot, I have a game now. I have to test it and make it work. From here on, you can add other systems and build into something truly unique and your own. If you're considering a code-related education, any computer science program will give you a leg up. That said, I highly recommend the computer science program at the University of Manitoba. It has a co-op program, which lets you get on-the-job training, which will give you experience, which is something that is much lauded in this industry, and you'll also get paid for it. So it's kind of a win-win. If you're a programmer, you are basically a wizard, and you can be a tools engineer, or a server engineer, or an action programmer. It's a very wide world, broad focus, and if that's your thing, I highly recommend checking it out. All right, what's next? Hands up. What?
Game design.
Game design. Okay. Game design, where programming was about how it works, game design is more about why. Game designers are masters of gameplay flow, game mechanics, and game systems. You guys see a pattern here? That said, more so, they work the way they do. You're basically focusing on why they work the way they do, not how. That's basically the programmer's job to figure out, and also to tell them that they can't do it. Let's look at some of our favorite games and be like, okay, why was this designed the way it was? One of my favorite games is Fire Emblem. There are a variety of classes in Fire Emblem. Who here plays Fire Emblem? Hands up, hands up. ends up. I'm glad to see that. I don't know if I want to buy the new one now. That's kind of sketchy. Anyway, there are a variety of classes in Fire Emblem that all fill different niches, like Cavalier. Cavalier, for example, mercenaries don't fill the same niche as knights. Mercenaries aren't fast and they can hit hard. Knights don't hit hard, but they can take a lot of damage. And knights don't fill the same niche as mages, who do a lot of magic damage, but they can't take a lot of hits. And then mages don't fill the same niche as Pegasus Knights, who can move really fast, and they're really fast, and they're really skillful, but they're not very strong. Continuing to look at Fire Emblem. Each class is designed to balance to fill a specific role by the game designer so that they are all useful. If you're designing a new class, for example, think about what role they fill so that they are not in a niche taken by another class. I know that can be hard, but it's definitely, that's the game designer's job, is to be like, what needs to be filled and what won't step on another guy's toes. Another of my favorite games is Halo. In Halo, players have the ability to move relative to the ground, jump, and shoot various weapons. Game designers carefully craft encounters around these abilities, as well as the variety of enemies and their abilities. So grunts can't do the same stuff that elites can do, and drones can do, and jackals can do. They take all of those into account in order to make a cool level where it's just like, okay, I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this. It's all about creating those possibilities for people. If you want to improve, designing physical ways is a good way to get your feet wet in game design. If you don't know how to program and you want to game design, moddable game engines are great. Skyrim Creation Kit. I know there's a guy out there. He made a mod for Skyrim in order to, as like a job application for working at Bethesda. He ended up getting a job at Bungie, and now he works on Destiny. Another good thing, Source Engine. You know, all the stuff that they do in TF2 and Half-Life. Yeah, you can make a lot of stuff. There's lots of tutorials available on YouTube as well, so definitely a lot there to check out. Unfortunately, there are no local options for game design related to education. It's really sad, and I'm sure those classes would be full. Questions at the end?
Actually, the U of W used to offer a program a few years ago. Don't know if they do anymore. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, yeah, no, if you can, check out the U of W. U of W?
Yeah.
Yeah, check out the U of W. Apparently they have a game design program. Check out their website. I don't know anything about it, so you'll have to let me know. All right, that's it for game design. Next one.
Music production.
Music production, yes. The music that we have playing right now was all done by me in Notion. It's just various stuff. I'm doing music for an indie game, and I'm also writing an album. So yeah, I've just been serenading you guys with that stuff. I hope you don't mind it. Anyways, music production is for, shockingly, people that like to create music, though not necessarily for games. Composers ensure that there is always a thematically correct track of music playing to match what's happening on the screen. You're not going to have the music playing right now playing on a sad scene. This is like I'm running around, I'm fighting music, dancing. If you want to get started making music, you just pick up an instrument. You know how to play and record yourself, and you just pass it out online, get people's opinions, and that's how you improve. And yeah, see if you collaborate with a game developer. Maybe they're interested in your style. Or the more obtuse route is picking up a digital audio workstation, better known as a DAW, and learn how to make music using it. FL Studio, Logic, Reason, they're all very popular. But like, they're also super expensive. Anyone here have a Mac? Anyone have a Mac? Anyone? Not many people. Well, if you have a Mac, you have GarageBand on it, which is free, and it's actually super good. So I highly recommend checking that out if you have a Mac. Whatever your choice, just go on YouTube and follow tutorials. That's like the best way to learn about how to use your DAW. Like programming, start slow. Don't expect to make a masterpiece as your debut. If you don't know much about music, do what sounds best to you. That's what I do. I don't know much about music. I don't have any music training. I just do it for fun. And you just try to emulate a sound that you know. In general, video game tracks loop, so always keep that in mind when you're making a song. And at the beginning, only work with a handful of instruments. When I first started, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a full orchestra score, it's gonna be amazing. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do, this is scary. So it's like, okay, let's start with one guy, and let's start with another guy, and then you just create layers, and that's how you end up with everything amazing that you've ever heard ever. So once you've got a handle on composing, either by recording yourself or by using a DAW, you just gotta keep going. Like, this is an iterative process. You're only gonna get better the more you do it. To improve your understanding of music, learn some musical theory. It really helps. I learned a little bit of it, and I feel like I got just a teensy bit better, like maybe like 1 or 2% better at making music from reading a book. You should always let other people listen to your work. Even if it's not their style, just like put it out there and everyone can be like, they may not like it thematically, but they may like it musically. That's like, you won't know unless you try. So just like shove in people's faces and be like, yeah, this is me, this is me, this is me. Also, listen to lots of different styles of music. That way you can broaden your horizons and like be like, oh hey, I know, maybe I'll have like some sort of like shamisen going on, and then I'll have like some African drum style stuff going on, and then put that together and be like, oh, that sounds awful. But I did it anyway, and now I know. So if you're looking for an education in music production and composition, I recommend the Bachelor of Music Composition focus at the University of Manitoba. It's internationally recognized professors, have awesome studio space, and offer lots of interesting classes that you can check out. Alright. Okay, we have 4 left. 4 left.
3D art?
3D art, sure! Yes. I don't know what that was. Alright, 3D art is for people that like to build things in 3 dimensions. This could be physically, or it could be digitally, or it could, well, physically and digitally are really like the only things you can build things in. 3D artists build everything that you can see in a game that is made in a 3D engine. Not limited to, but including the characters, the environment, and the props. So yeah, anything and everything. Alright, so before you can get started having awesome 3D creations, you need to learn a 3D package. They are generally very expensive, over $1,000. These are industry standard, and they can be afforded by people in the industry that make many millions of dollars doing movies or video games or short animations or what have you. That said, there are free educational versions of Autodesk Maya and Autodesk 3ds Max that you can pick up on their website. Those last for like a few years, so you got a lot of time to grow. There's also Blender, which is free. It's used a lot by indie developers who can't afford Maya, and it works for a lot of people. So if you want to pick it up, I highly recommend it. I don't know how to use it. I know how to use Maya. So I'm a little biased. Okay. Learning a package is more about learning the best practices and terminology of that package. Or learning the best practices and terminology about doing 3D art. It's pretty much standard all across the board. You can be like, a UV is always a UV, a bone is always a bone, a plane is always a plane, what have you. So yeah, that doesn't really matter. So just start doing online tutorials and learn your way around the package. Getting around the package is can be one of the hardest things. Apparently, Autodesk Maya has more controls than like a common passenger jet. Like, it's more complicated to work a 3D software program than it is to fly an airplane. That said, before you found your way around, don't worry about making anything yourself at this point in your training. Because if you don't know where something is, you can very easily get frustrated. And I don't like when people get frustrated at doing awesome things like making 3D art. So once you have a good grasp on your package, really? No one laughed? Oh my gosh, I thought that was gonna crack up the room. I'm an adult too. Alright, So once you understand how to do 3D art a bit better, you can start building more complex objects without the tutorials. This will allow you to flex your imagination and like let you make some really neat stuff. You can also start looking into Uni Mapping, which lets you put textures and color in your creations. So like color, it'll be shine, transparency, depth, all that stuff is controlled by textures. Then you can read up on rigging and animation to add life and movement to your objects and characters. Generally not everything is static. So a lot of things move, like people. You're going to want to rig a person. Alright, and if you're looking for a 3D art education, I highly recommend my alumni, Digital Media Design at Red River College. It starts off with a very broad focus where you learn about video editing and web design as well as 3D modeling and animation. They have a 1-month internship during your 4th semester, which lets you work for free at a studio around the city, either doing game art or making stuff for movies or designing things for houses and stuff like that. There's also the 3D computer graphics program, which is the optional 3rd year for digital media design, and it's pretty much over 40 hours a week of doing 3D stuff. So it's very, very intensive. A good thing about the digital media design program at River College is it puts a big focus on getting your name out there through attending local events like creative meetups and industry presentations. So like, yeah, it's definitely like, I know I've met a few people just from going to one of the meetups and just being like, hey, how's it going? I'm Dan, I'm a student. Well, was a student. Alright, if you are looking to get a job out of school, you could be an animator. It's a little bit different from 2D animation, and 3D animators manipulate animation rigs to make 3D characters perform actions, speak, emote, pretty much anything you see in like a Pixar movie. Hard surface artists, they're experts at creating all manner of inorganic life. You guys can't see this, but there's a microphone in front of me, and you know how they have that lattice work? A 3D or a hard surface artist would know exactly how to make that look the best it can. If you have programmer training, you can also become a technical artist, which you create tools for your coworkers to make their jobs easier. It's very, very handy. Okay, that's it. 3D art. We have 3 left.
Localization.
Localization. Cool. Localization is done by people who can speak 2 languages near perfectly. So preferably one language of the game's country of origin, while the other one is one that you learned or is a native language that you speak. A lot of companies that work here in North America, they want to sell their game in France, or Japan, or Germany, or Switzerland. They have to basically, even though those countries know English, they still have to translate the game into that language so that they can have the best experience that they can have. So if you know this other language, you need to know slang and you need to know technical terms because those might get brought up in the game. To get started, you need to practice. Find games that have been translated into one language you know but not the other. Constantly check your work and make sure that it makes sense grammatically and linguistically. So this is most commonly done by people who speak Japanese to translate games into English. Popular example would be Mother 3. Any Mother 3? Any Mother fans in here? Earthbound? Okay, only a handful of people. That's a bit disappointing. Okay. And the only way to improve is to keep translating. Always make sure that you get a second opinion, even from people that aren't familiar with the source material as you are. So if you know another language, and like say it's like something that you learned from your family, like maybe run it by them. They may not be as familiar with the source material as you, but they can still let you know. Be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. The grammar's wrong there. That word is wrong, and then you can fix your work. So if you're interested in becoming a translator, all post-secondary institutions in Winnipeg offer formal language programs. So in those programs, you'll get probably a bachelor of arts in that language, and that'll let you translate stuff officially. During those, you'll read a lot, and it will also let you immerse yourself in the multiple languages that you speak. So like being able to maybe if you're learning how to speak Japanese, being able to go to Japan would be really cool and let you immerse yourself in that culture so that you can understand how to translate games better. Okay, that's it for localization. We've got 2 left.
QA.
QA. Oh, that I have words to say about QA. Oh, geez, I'm running a little bit. Oh, wait, no, I'm not running late. Okay, quality assurance and testing. Common misconception: testing is not for people that want to play video games all day and get paid. That is not what I do. Well, okay, it is what I do. But I test because I want to help produce a quality product. And I spelled that wrong. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. A quality produce like lettuce and cabbage and kale, and I'm just naming leafy greens right now. Alright, so testers are responsible for testing all aspects of the game's function during development of the initial release and post-release content. Any issues and bugs that are found can be either code or art related and must be logged so that they can be fixed by the right department. There's really no way to get started with game testing. Well, okay, there is. You just play an alpha and beta test for games, most commonly done in first-person shooters and MMORPGs. While playing, try and break the game. Mess with menus. Keep an eye on potential discrepancies between written descriptions and gameplay, and try and break the sequence on everything. At work, there is a tutorial to the game that we play, and I play it every single day, every time I get a new build to the game. And I always try and make sure that I can break the tutorial, because I know that someone out there is going to find a way to break the game. When you do find something while you're doing a test, attempt to replicate it and write down the steps in a bug report. Bugs are repaired by programmers by repeating the steps given by the tester in the game's engine, seeing what happens if they don't already know. A lot of the time, a programmer can understand what a bug does, or what's happening to a bug when they read the bug report. A lot of the times, they have to actually try it out before they can, understand what's happening. As you get better, you'll start to understand how to anticipate bugs that were potential oversights by the person who worked on it. You got to keep them accountable for your work. Like I said with the tutorial, it's one guy who does it, so I keep messing it up so that I can keep them accountable for it. Eventually, the game will improve in quality, but that doesn't mean that shouldn't stop you from rechecking something you already tested. Even a small change to an inconsequential system can have a drastic effect elsewhere in the game. I have seen things where one number changed in a random script somewhere on one side of the game will completely mess up everything on the other side of the game. It's really awful, and it really gives programmers headaches, and I like giving programmers headaches. Testing works a bit opposite from most jobs. Having an education in games can help land you a job as a tester. I know 3D art, and that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I got a job as a tester. It can help you get the much lauded 1 year of experience that most entry-level video game jobs require. Even if it's just a tester position, you're still working in the studio, you're still talking with programmers and artists and all those people, and you still have an idea of how it works, so it's still experience and it still qualifies. That's it for quality assurance. Last up is producing. Yay, everyone's so excited. So, producing. Common misconception: producers are not in charge of the projects that they produce for. They are first and foremost problem solvers. They ensure that the game is getting done on time and on budget, and that people are able to do their jobs. Oh wow, I just lost my train of thought.
Reboot. Right from the corner. Push the A button.
Sorry guys, just a second. get my train of thought going back.
Got it, man.
You're not helping.
Quality testing.
Anyway, let's just keep going. My train of thought's gone. It's left the station. There should always be at least one producer on a project. That producer is the executive producer. Under that producer, there can be anywhere from one other to a million other producers that are in charge of each and every department on the project. They do their best to keep their fingers on the pulse of the project, but by holding meetings. I know, riveting. Meetings are riveting. So, overall, producers are communicative, organized, and they're extremely good morale boosters. Doing overtime last summer, you have no idea how much I loved getting a Slurpee at 1 in the morning because my producer went to step for me and got me a Slurpee. It was great. And because of that, producers are self-sacrificing. They have to be like the most like self-sacrificing person on the team. They have to be willing to put in that time and that effort in order to go out there and make sure that people can do their jobs. So learning project management is not something you pick up, or is something you pick up through years of experience or through an education. That said, the producer at Complex Games highly recommends the project management course at the University of Manitoba. It is a highly accessible introduction to project management that will help you learn project management best practices. And it will also help you get the project management professional certificate. So you can be PIMP certified. It's literally called PIMP. It's really funny. Alright, that is it for So You Want to Make Games Too. Thank you very much for coming out, everyone. Are there any questions? Hands up if you have questions. No questions? I explained everything perfectly? That's great. Have a good con, everyone. I'm really happy everyone came out. If you do have questions and you didn't want to talk up front, you can just come up here and we can chat a bit. Have a good day, everyone.